Hello and welcome. Today we are going to talk about the assembly of the pressure cap. Now there's two reasons why I talk about the assembly. One is in case I decide to sell it as a kit and you have to do your own assembly. But the other is that when you clean it, I've used some acetone or some super glue to help hold the pieces together. And if you clean with acetone, the plastic will be fine, but the super glue won't hold, and so you may have to reassemble it. So I wanted to give you an idea of exactly how it goes together, so that if you need to reassemble it or have any issues with it, you have the information you need to do that. Now, we have here an unassembled one. This is straight off of the printer. There's only a couple assembly steps that need to happen. One is we have to put this screw into this hole and get it all the way into the little hexagonal hole there. And it won't fit normally. It's too tight to fit in. And I make it too tight so that it fits tight. I've got some super glue. In this case it's just Gorilla gel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the base of this screw. If I can get it to come out of the nozzle. There we go. And put some super glue on there. Alright, so I line up the hex on the bolt with a way that I can remember. I like putting the flat side towards me. And then I line this up the same way, flat side towards me, and then carefully push it down onto there. Now it's not going to go all the way on. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to use the nut on this to pull it in. Now that I've gotten it on there, you can see that it's lined up fairly well. I don't want to glue my fingers to it. And as I tighten this, you'll see the hex is going to sink into the hole. Just like that. And then I can take this off and let it dry. So at this point we now have the bolt mounted into the plastic. And when that super glue dries, it should be in there good and tight. The next piece we're going to assemble, but you don't actually have to super glue the washer onto this face. I like to so that I don't lose my washers. I don't forget where they are or end up with them floating around the workspace. They're right there. They're always where they belong. So to do that, it's a little tight on the new print. I just take the washer and I put a thin layer, a little bit of super glue kind of around where the washer's going to go. It doesn't have to be real precise. Just try not to get it on the bolt. And then I drop that on, just to make sure we don't end up with a problem. Like I said, it's a little tight on the print, so I'm just going to unscrew this. After it's been put together a few times, that loosens up. Now that's ready to dry. Don't super glue your finger to it. So that's the basics on that part of the assembly. Now I've got one more piece that needs to be assembled. And I've got the pieces for that. Now on this part, there's a few things. I've already got the nut in there. Let me take that out because it's not actually super glued in there. So this is probably the most important strength-wise connection of the entire thing. So this hole for this nut actually allows the nut to recess inside. And the reason I do that is because I sand it so that it's flat when I'm done. Because I want the nut to bear right on the washer exactly and not bear on any of the plastic. If I were to use it without sanding it down, when I tighten this, the nut is going to want to pull out of this mount. And that's going to come loose, and then your whole thing's going to fall off the turner. So it's important when you're done that the nut be flush with everything else here. That's probably the most important geometrical feature of this, is that that be a flat surface. And I do that by insetting the nut and making sure that it's in.